They seemed like the perfect couple. 2 kids, a beautiful home, vacations twice a year, and smiles that fooled everyone. But behind closed doors, things were unraveling slowly, quietly. And like most betrayals, it didn't start with a loud crash. It started with a whisper, a small lie here, a hidden detail there. Until one day, she found something she was never meant to see. A bank statement addressed to him, at an address she didn't recognize. She wasn't the kind to snoop, but something about that envelope felt off. He always handled the finances. He said it was easier that way. She trusted him. After all, wasn't trust the foundation of love? But love without transparency is just illusion dressed up in hope. She opened it. Her hands shook as she scanned the numbers. Thousands, then tens of thousands. Transactions that didn't match their lifestyle. Where was the money going? And more importantly, why was he hiding it? She didn't confront him that night. She watched instead, observed, paid attention to the way he deflected questions, the way he smiled when he lied. She started asking little things, testing his responses. Each time, the gap between his words and the truth grew wider. It wasn't just about the money, it was about the deception, the calculated effort to build a life in secret while pretending to share everything. If you're new here, we dive deep into real, raw stories that open your eyes and challenge what you think you know about love, trust, and human behavior. If that's the kind of story that speaks to you, consider subscribing to our channel. We share stories daily, ones that don't just entertain, but make you feel, reflect, and sometimes even heal. Back to her story. She finally hired someone to look into it, a private investigator, not because she wanted to destroy him, but because she needed clarity. What she found left her breathless. He had multiple accounts, not just one, all in different names. Some registered under shell companies she had never heard of. One was even in the name of a woman. It all began to make sense. The late nights, the sudden business trips, the new cologne, and the emotional distance that grew so slowly, she thought she was imagining it. He wasn't just hiding money, he was hiding a double life. And the hardest part wasn't the betrayal itself. It was realizing how long it had been going on. Years. Years of pretending, years of lying to her face while hugging her good night. That's the kind of pain that doesn't just break your heart, it makes you question your entire reality. But she wasn't going to let that pain define her. And just when she was gathering the strength to confront him, something unexpected happened. He found out she knew. And what he did next shocked her more than all the hidden accounts combined. He saw the papers on the kitchen table, the bank statements, the investigator's report. Everything was laid out, neatly, just like she had planned. For the first time, she wanted him to see it all. No screaming, no dramatic accusations, just the truth. Sitting quietly between their morning coffee cups. He didn't ask how she found out. He didn't deny it. He just stared at the pages like they were written in a language he'd forgotten how to read. Then, he did the one thing she hadn't anticipated. He laughed, a dry, hollow laugh that echoed through the silence of the room. And then he said, "So, you finally figured it out. No apology, no regret, just confirmation." That one sentence shattered every last piece of the illusion she had been clinging to. She asked the question she had rehearsed in her mind 1,000 times. Why? And his answer, "Because I didn't think you'd ever look." That was the moment she realized. It wasn't just betrayal. It was arrogance. It was control. He hadn't just hidden money. He had hidden a version of himself that he never planned to show her. A man who believed loyalty was optional and secrets were his right. But what he didn't expect was that she had already taken her own steps. Before confronting him, she had opened a separate account, moved some of her own money, consulted a lawyer. She had always been the quiet one in the relationship, the forgiving one, the patient one. But betrayal has a strange way of waking up the version of you that refuses to be silent anymore. And when she told him she wanted out, he didn't beg, he didn't plead, he smirked. "You'll regret this," he said. But she didn't. The next few weeks were chaos. Divorce papers, financial disclosures, lawyers, and late-night breakdowns. He tried to hide more money, tried to manipulate the narrative, claimed she was overreacting, that she was trying to destroy the family. But the truth was already out. And once the truth is spoken, it can't be unsaid. Friends took sides. Some said she should forgive, others admired her strength. But no one could understand what it felt like to realize the person you built your life with was building an entirely different one behind your back. And yet through it all, she stood tall. This wasn't just about money. It was about dignity, about refusing to be treated like she didn't matter, about choosing herself, not in selfishness, but in self-respect. She knew the road ahead would be hard, financially, emotionally, socially. But she also knew one thing for sure: living in a lie would cost far more than walking away from it. Because once trust is gone, what's left is not love, it's performance, and she was done performing. What happened in court surprised everyone, including her, not just because of the ruling, but because of who showed up and what they said. She walked into the courtroom with her head held high, not because she felt strong, but because she had no other choice. Every eye was on her, his family, her former friends, even people she barely knew showed up, drawn by whispers of scandal and secrets. But she wasn't there to put on a show. The proceedings began, and the financials were the first thing on the table. His hidden accounts, transfers to unknown names, property purchases under a cousin's name. He had gone to great lengths to keep her in the dark. But now, under oath, his mask was cracking. He tried to play it cool, claimed it was for investment purposes, that he had every intention of telling her, eventually. But the judge didn't buy it. Neither did anyone in the room who had ever been lied to and knew what manipulation looked like, dressed in a suit and tie. Then something unexpected happened. Her former sister-in-law, his own brother's wife, stood up and asked to speak. The courtroom paused. She had brought her own documentation, years of knowing, years of watching him do this before, to someone else. He had a pattern. He had secrets, buried deeper than anyone imagined. The room shifted. This wasn't just a case about hidden money. It was a case about character. And now everyone could see the truth. When he realized the narrative was slipping from his control, he changed tactics. He suddenly softened, talked about love, about family, about how every couple goes through things. He even tried to make her feel guilty. "Think of the kids," he said. "Do you really want to destroy our legacy like this?" But she had already made peace with her decision. She wasn't destroying anything. She was uncovering it. For so long, she thought being quiet was strength, that keeping the peace was noble. But silence had been costing her pieces of herself. And now, speaking up was the only way forward. The judge ruled in her favor, not because she played the victim, but because she stood in truth. He lost more than money that day. He lost the power he held through deceit. He lost the woman who believed in him. And most importantly, he lost the ability to rewrite the story. Because now, the story was hers. After court, people came up to her quietly. Some hugged her. Others whispered, "Thank you for showing us we can leave too." Her story wasn't just hers anymore. It became a mirror for others who had buried their pain behind forced smiles. And as she walked out of that courtroom, she wasn't the same woman who walked in. She wasn't bitter. She wasn't broken. Freedom tasted different than she expected. It wasn't loud. It didn't feel like victory confetti falling from the sky. It was quiet, like the stillness after a long storm. For the first time in years, she woke up not second-guessing herself. No more pretending. No more walking on emotional eggshells. Just space to breathe. But healing? That wasn't immediate. Because when someone lies to you, it takes time to trust anything again, including yourself. She went back through old memories, questioning what was real and what was just a performance. That anniversary trip he planned, was it guilt? That surprise gift? Was it a cover? It was like trying to piece together a puzzle where half the pieces were fakes. Yet somewhere in the middle of all that pain, something unexpected grew, a deeper kind of self-respect. She realized that she had ignored her own instincts for too long, not because she was foolish, but because she wanted to believe in love. And that's what people don't talk about enough. How betrayal isn't just about the other person's lies. It's about the parts of ourselves we silence in order to keep the story alive. She began speaking more openly, to friends, to other women who had been through similar situations. Her story started resonating beyond her inner circle. People began messaging her, thanking her for saying out loud what they were too afraid to admit. That money can destroy trust. That secrets in a marriage don't protect love, they poison it. And that sometimes walking away isn't weakness. It's the only way to reclaim your life. Meanwhile, he was living a different story. His finances were exposed. His reputation cracked. Those who once admired him now saw the truth behind the charm. He tried to rebuild his image, but something had shifted. And it wasn't just about public opinion. It was the loss of control, the loss of the one person who believed in him long after she should have walked away. And for her, she didn't rush into a new relationship. She focused on rebuilding herself, not just emotionally, but financially, mentally, spiritually. She learned to sit with her loneliness without letting it define her. She began creating new routines, not around someone else's chaos, but around her peace. The world around her kept spinning. People moved on, but inside, she had changed forever. And maybe that's the message we all need to hear. Sometimes what breaks us open is what sets us free. She didn't get the ending she imagined when she said, "I do." But she got something far more powerful, a life that was finally her own. If this story moved you, we invite you to subscribe to our channel. Every day, we share real stories with powerful lessons that speak to the heart. And if you're going through something right now, remember this: you are not alone. Your peace is worth protecting. And sometimes the truth